Well, good evening and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. Brian and I are coming to you live today just to update you on what's in it for the new year. What you need to watch for, what you need to look for. Again, this is Brian and Janice as we talk and discuss things that we feel like would be very of great interest to each and every one of you. And again, I hope my prayers that everybody is having a great beginning of 2023. It's a new year, it's a new day, and we need to begin to embrace it, look for the positive in everything possible in life. Let's begin to uplift, encourage, and inspire each other and those that are around. Reach out to help anybody that you feel that needs the help. How can you get somewhere without helping someone else or someone helps you? You have to think about things like that in your life. So I am just excited to be here today, embarking upon a new year, a fantastic year. And with this year coming upon us, there are some great things in store for us, and there are some things that we need to be mindful of. So today, Brian and I are going to share that with you. If you have questions, you can reach out and ask, and I will try to respond to your questions the best I can through the phone app. So again, without further ado, I'm going to let Brian bring us in.
Well, good evening, Facebook family. Good evening, YouTube family. Again, as Janice has said, Happy New Year, Happy 2023. 2022 is behind us,
yes,
and we are excited to be coming to you all again with Brian and Janice show for 2023. This is going to be a great year. So we are going to deal with some sensitive topics as it relates to some of the things that I feel that is necessary to discuss relating the betterment of Black people, if you will, for 2023.
Yes.
We will also briefly discuss, we did tell you guys that we would do the show. This particular show would be, we would highlight Deon Sanders and we would talk about that. So I will give you a brief synopsis and my perspective as Janice move all the paraphernalia out of the way.
Not for me. I'm funny like
I guess
that
it
anyway.
would be paraphernalia, would it?
No.
Okay, so whatever.
No.
Whatever
it is.
All right, so, but anyway, guys, we are excited to be with you. But again, like I said, I'm going to give you my brief perspective on the Deon Sanders situation. We're not going to spend much time on that. That is behind us.
Yes.
It's kind of old news now, but I do just want to kind of chime in and let you know, like I said, give you my perspective, give you a brief synopsis on how I actually view the situation as it relates to the whole transition and his move from an HBCU, Jackson State, to a PWI, Colorado, and how I foresee that situation unfolding in this coming year. So that's where we are, guys. We are happy that you are with us. So we're going to turn it back over to Janice, and we will get going with the Deon Sanders situation. So Janice, what are your thoughts? And
you know, I always, who doesn't want the best for their family, and especially your children? Because we have fashioned ourselves in a position right now in life where as adults, all we want to do is make sure that our children have, just say better, if not better, well, who doesn't, I'm going to say better options that were available to us. And when you think about a move, an accelerated move, and you go in with that mindset that if something else becomes available that's better, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to talk to my family about it, and I may make that move on that. So I think that's what Deon did. He came in with the intentions that if he got an invite from a D1, he would research that. He would look into it. He wouldn't turn his back on it. Now, it may have not been from Colorado what he was thinking about, but he did not discriminate. He didn't say what school. He said if he got an invite from a D1 school to coach, he would look into that. And that's my...
So your final what? As far as your...
I support him. I really do. And I am 100% on his team in this decision because I really feel like he made the best decision for him and his family. He was not, I don't think it was all about the money for him. I think it was more about putting his children in a better position so that they could get better offers out there. And then along the way, he took some of the great players that he had recruited to Jackson State. He took those with him, those that were wanting to go and those that were great players. He had offered them to come with him. Okay.
Let me, family, just chime in. And we thank Janice for her perspective on that and her opinion. My opinion is, Deon is what he is. Deon has never changed his stripes, so to speak, or spots, if you will. Leopard doesn't change his spots. Deon has been the same and remained the same from the time he stepped onto the HBCU campus until the time he stepped off. This is where I differ as it relates to the whole concept of him wanting to better his family. I don't think that was even in the equation. I don't think that factored into the equation. I think the decision that was made by Deon was made based on individuality, meaning that he chose based on how he felt and what his goals and desires were. Is the family included in that? Yes, indirectly the family is included in that, but it was not based on the actual advancement for the advancement of the family. Now, having said that, let me say this. With the whole Deon situation, I look at the whole. Does the move to Colorado benefit the African American community and the young black men as a whole? So what was the whole, when we unfold this, what was the whole reason behind Deon going to Jackson State? Was it to really build a Tier 1 solid football program? Was it to be competitive at another level above the SWAC? What was the true reason that he went to Jackson State? And when you fold back the layers of that, you're going to find out that he interviewed prior to the Jackson State offer. He interviewed with 3 PWIs, which all turned him down as a head coach. Okay? Not to say that Deon wasn't qualified, but in their eyes, his resume did not meet the criteria. He was a high school coach for a charter prep school that he is the basic one of the founders, the main founder, and that high school prep team that he coached did not have a winning record. Granted, it was new, okay, but still, he was not able to garner a winning record. So, long story short, behind that is Jackson State reached out and gave Deon an opportunity. So it was a two-way street here. Okay, we're going to benefit because of the star quality, your name. You're going to benefit because you're getting an opportunity to prove yourself as a head coach in the industry of entertainment, sports entertainment, okay, on a college level. When I look at the whole, what Deon did in the 3 years, I have no complaints about. In the 3 years that he was there, he did good work. Yes. Everybody have heard that he took a pay cut, he spent his own money, how he refurbished locker rooms, he did a whole lot. Student dormitory for the athletes, he enhanced. Yes, he did a whole lot, but was this simply about that? And in my analysis, it wasn't. When you look at the whole, what Deon, the environment that he created, was an environment that says that we can recruit our young men that are going to PWIs. We can reinstill confidence in them in our institutions. Mm-hmm. We can recruit them to our institutions, and we can compete on the same level as a PWI. That is when you look at the whole, that's what I look at when it comes to what Deon brought to Jackson State, the mindset, the energy, and the environment that he created around not only Jackson State, but the HBCU community was one that says, hey, if we come back and help our own, we can build great sport programs. This is not only in relation to football. It goes way beyond football, because once you solidify the football program, everything else benefits from that, because the football program is the biggest financial winner at any college, PWI or HBCU. So this is not just about the football situation. This is about women's basketball, men's basketball, track and field. This is about golf. This is about everything that you could think of as it relates to sports. It falls into that category. So it's not just, it wasn't just affecting football. Now, wasn't just affecting Jackson State.
But it's affecting him and his family. He made the decision at the time to do what was best for he and his family. And
yes, but he did not look at the whole.
Well,
see, my whole thing is, do you sacrifice, the one, which is Jackson State in this case, for the bigger pie, of the many as it relates to PWI? Do you sacrifice your people and collectively?
I don't think
what you could have done? He did.
No,
he did.
No, he did.
Yes, the people, the football team, as it is now, as he has left it. And you said this is one fact that you pointed out. We're not going to spend much, I don't want to spend much time on Deon, because we can argue about this for hours and not get anywhere on it. People have their own opinion. But as you stated, okay, you stated that he took players with him.
He did.
Okay, so you deplete the Jackson State team. Okay, the young men that could not go with him, whose parents entrusted them to Deon on the basis that I'm going to be around to coach these young men, okay, that were not your 5-star athletes, your 4-star athletes, but they were good enough to play, good enough to be developed, good enough to possibly, as they were developed, maybe walk on to a NFL team. So I still look at the whole. What has he done for black people? What collectively he could have gone down in history as one of the greatest coaches outside of Eddie Robinson Sr. from Grambling. He could have gone down as one of the greatest unifiers of HBC athletics in sporting history. And that affects the whole. Now, 5-10 years down the road, if he had stayed, and I believe that Colorado offered him $5 million with endorsements and other promotional royalties that he would be receiving. He would have made that anyway at Jackson State. He was making that before he accepted the job at Colorado. The Aflac commercials, I'm sure that contract paid him multi-millions with Nick Saban. So it wasn't, from my standpoint, it's got to be something more than just the money. Deon was a professional football player, so it wasn't about, for me, in my thinking, about the money. You sacrifice a collective group of people, not just a HBCU college, for the individuality, and we can even, some may even call it selfish reasons, to go to a institution that, I don't care what nobody say, will not embrace you in the long run. If you don't win, you are scum. That is going to be the outcome. I'm hoping he will win for the sake of, here again, a collective people in how we are as far as success at these institutions, that we have an opportunity to break through those barriers. Yes, so I applaud that with Deon, but when I look at the greater good that he could have done, it still, in my mind, remains with the fact that if he had stayed at Jackson State and continued to build that program to become a Tier 1 program and to compete with PWIs, it puts now in our children's mind that our institutions are just as good. You see, now when you go to a PWI, you're telling your children now to come to a school where the institution feel like you are subpar and inferior anyway. And the only thing that they feel like you are good at doing is entertaining, playing sports. So it's got to be something more than that. You know, our kids need to know that they are just as great, just as good, that our institutions have just as programs that are just as good, that we have coaches and professors that are just as good. We don't need to play subpar and inferior to concepts of us now saying we want to be included in a PWI, or I'm taking my talents or my coaching abilities to a PWI, and I'm going to make this PWI, I'm going to restore it to championship quality on the backs of little black boys that now, when they get to this PWI, outside of them putting on a helmet and shoulder pads, they're going to be treated like crap. They're not going to be acknowledged for, they're not going to, and I doubt there's, even now, the University of Colorado is augmenting its ACT scores, SAT scores. They're augmenting their courses for these athletes that are coming in. So any athlete that takes basket weaving and not able to be put in a literacy course or English 101, true courses of education to where it will enhance their intellectuality. So what that shows me is that Deon is not in control. Still the white president of Colorado, the white athletic director that hired him, they are still the ones with the power. They're still the ones calling the shots. Now they will make decisions based on what they feel is best. Deon may say he doesn't play second fiddle to anybody and nobody is going to run him, but just by him simply taking the job, it says that I am subservient to what you want me to do. You can buy me. You understand what I'm saying? So that's my perspective on it, family. And I'll end with that. Like I said, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the Deon situation. It's water under the bridge, so to speak. I'm happy for Deon. I hope he is successful at whatever he does. But I think he sacrificed the greater good of the community as a whole for an individual kind of selfish reason. And for that, I don't think, myself, I don't think I'll ever rationalize or make it right in my mind that, you know, him leaving Jackson State was for the benefit of everybody, and for the benefit of all of our black young men and the black community. So there you have it.
Okay, Brian. I mean, I understand where you're going with it, but what I want to say now is that we're gonna move on because Deon has made his decision. He is where he is, and
I agree.
We'll just wait until fall of 2023 to see how well he's gonna do. And I pray that he does extremely well because we need that. We need him to succeed. Okay. All right.
I don't have anything.
I had to cut it, you guys. I had to cut it. What I want to do now is just let Brian kind of take us into 2023. I know a lot of you have been hearing a lot of things about recessions and the inflation of the housing market, houses being escalated to just crazy prices, and the interest rates steadily going up. But I think they've kind of halted right now. They kind of halted that. But what do we have to look forward to? And my biggest question to Brian tonight is that what are some things that we can do to safeguard what we have, you know, as far as our finances?
I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, can black people at this particular point in history, in this particular juncture in history, can we be competitive as a whole group? There are so many things that's being put before us to continue to minimize the power of black people, to make us ineffective in society, that it's going to be an upward hill battle, so to speak. Okay. Some of the things that are being put before us is the whole concept of diversity and inclusion. Now, when we talk about that, I'm a big proponent of...
But that's been around a minute, Brian. That's not new to the game.
It's not new to the game, but it's new to the whole corporate America. Okay, the way that business are starting to operate as it relates to making sure that they have policies in place to deal specifically with not discriminating against any person, regardless of their race, religion, sex, ethnicity. Okay, that is, and I can actually speak on this from a standpoint of a policy person, because the company that I'm employed with, I help to write the inclusive diversity and equity policies. Okay. So when we look at what corporations are doing, the main objective is to make sure that those who are immigrants have the same opportunity, especially if they are talented or if they are educated, to compete in a company that everyone else have. Okay. Now, the downside to that as it relates to African Americans is some of the policies that are put in place directly affect African Americans being in that tier of people and being in that group that are not marginalized still and that are not minimized concerning their talents. Now, so you may ask, well, Brian, what do you mean when you say that blacks, you know, are not, you know, that we're not still being marginalized? Some things that are put in place. Some of the things, and this is one thing that I'm a proponent for, is getting rid of tests when it comes to employments on jobs that are have a tendency to pay more than the average wage. Okay? And the average wage now is still not a living wage, but it is the average wage now is $15 an hour. Okay? So between $10 and $15 an hour, if you're working for an employment agency you're not going to start off any less than $10 an hour. Okay, $15 an hour will be on the high end. So that is an average wage. That is not a living wage. Anything above a living wage, if you're entering into corporate America, if you are IT person, things of that nature, computers, any type of high-end job, a lot of times they have basic psych tests that they give you to actually weed you out. Now, this is not getting to the test that you may have to take in reference to the company. This is just the test at the interview process, okay, to actually be considered as a candidate for the job. So that, in my opinion, is one way to weed out African American people. So the whole concept of diversity and inclusion is geared toward groups that they feel have a higher test ratio than African Americans and that are mentally stable, so to speak, okay, if you will, that can pass these psych tests. So whether the psych tests are relevant to the actual person's situation is not factored into the equation, because you can get a psych test that has nothing to do with who you are, how you live. It does not is not reflective of your environment, your situation, how you were raised. So in saying that, automatically you're going to think a little bit different from the psych test, simply because of how the dynamics surrounding your life. Okay, so most of the psych tests are geared toward middle class, middle income people that came out of the suburbs.
Let's try to help the people now, Brian. You know, we talk about this all the time, and you've done your massive research on this. I know I've seen you do it, and I know what you tell me. Let's help the people financially. Let's help. Tell them what's going on.
So we get past the diversity inclusion. So financially, this year, everybody, in 2023, some things that I want you to look out for that started at the end of 2022. Janice brought up one of them. One is inflation. Okay, interest rates are going to continue to climb until the inflation ceiling is hit. Okay, and normally that is reaches a level right between 10 and 12%. Okay, so what you need to do financially, if you do not have a savings account, let me stress this, because a lot of black people do not have a savings account. You need, the first thing, and we're going to start with baby steps, you need to open a savings account, and you need to save at least 30% of your annual gross income every year. Okay, 30% of the annual gross income a year needs to be
now,
in.
What have we been told? What about the 10%? You know, they used to tell us 10% of your income, of your weekly or bi-weekly or monthly salary. You need to save at least 10%. So now you're saying 30%. Is that what
I'm saying 30% of your annual income.
Okay. Well, I got you.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 10% rule is a rule that's been in place for a while. Okay, it's based on the biblical principle of tithe. Okay. That's where black people get the 10% rule from. Now, what we need to go back and do is study the rule of 72. How compound interest works as it relates to the dollars that you save. So let me give you an example. If you have a savings account is an interest-bearing account that's usually at a bank, has an interest rate of 1 to 2%. So for every $1 you put in your savings, you're going to make 1 to 2% on that dollar, which is a penny or 2 pennies. Pennies make nickels, nickels make dimes, dimes make quarters,
quarters make dollars.
There you go. Okay? This is, like I said, this is a starting point. Okay? So if you put in 10% of your paycheck in your savings account every week or bi-weekly, if you get paid bi-weekly, you cannot touch it. Okay? In order for it to make any money. You understand that? Okay? Because like I said, a savings account is an interest-bearing account of 1 to 2%. So you're not making much off of that unless you put a large sum in there. Okay? Now, there are other primary accounts that you may be at a bank, you may be at a credit union. Okay? A lot of times, credit unions have what they call primary accounts, which is different from a savings account. You have a primary checking, you have a primary mutual funds account, and then you have a primary savings account. If your bank, if that credit union has a primary mutual funds savings account, that interest from a regular savings account of 1 to 2% jumps up in a primary mutual fund savings account to 9 to 11%.
Wow.
Okay? So if your bank has that, look at putting your money into that account as opposed to putting it into a traditional savings account.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why do we say that? Okay, black people, you have to learn how to save if you're going to build collectively. That's the first rule of becoming financially free, to where you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Okay? So, second rule of thumb, after you create the savings account, if you have any credit cards with balances that are not a debit card, you need to start paying them down. Start with the one with the smallest balance, and if you have a minimum balance of $30 a month, triple it. Pay $90.
Yes.
Why do I tell you to do that? Because it absorbs the interest. If you pay it monthly on time, it absorbs the interest. Literally, you will have no interest. If you're paying it monthly on time and you triple that payment from 30 to 90, then you pay that credit card off in half the time.
That's correct.
You understand?
Yes.
So you go from now 3 years to a year and a half, and that credit card is paid. That balance is paid off. So start with the lowest amount
on the credit card.
Okay. And work your way up until all your credit cards are paid off. The only credit card you should be using next year should be a debit card. If you cannot pay cash, you do not need it. That's hard for black people.
That's hard for a lot of people.
That's hard for people to get, but that is a concept. Now, let me tell you why I'm saying that as it relates to 2023. We know about the inflation. Interest rates are going to climb until they reach their peak ceiling. Okay, the war in Ukraine is being funded by the United States of America, whether we want to accept that or not. That is the truth, and that is why we are dealing with inflation right now. Simply because our administration, the Biden administration, have made a choice to fund the war. Okay? So, until Russia is defeated, we don't know how long the war is going to go on. We don't know the details behind the cost of the war, which I'm sure we can go to us.gov and look at finance department and we can look it up.
Yes.
But right now we know it's over $5 billion because that's what we sent to the Ukraine, I think initially, and I know that they are requesting more funding even as we speak. So we're going to continue to see interest rates, like I said, probably go up until it reaches its ceiling. Also, in saying that, the American dollar does not have the same value
Okay, now we get
as it relates to the world economy that it had 5 years ago prior to the pandemic.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
About 3 to 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the yen, the euro, different monies in the European economy and the People's Republic of China economy right now are exceeding the value of the dollar.
Can you say that again, Brian?
So the value of the dollar is falling each year. As this war prolongs, it is going to continue to fall. We have to understand that.
So how, if that's the case, how we can continuing to fund wars in other countries? Or even why would we do it? I understand, I scratch that. Why would we do it? I know the benefit of doing it because, you know, I help you, you help me, basically. But why are we doing that when we're in trouble ourselves?
Well, it's all about the import-export of the pipelines, use of the gas pipelines and the oil pipelines. Okay, so we know that Russia controlled 90% of the export of oil went through their pipelines.
Now.
Yes.
Still going through.
Well, and not going through right now because they put in sanctions in place where Russian oil is not being accepted by the allied countries. Okay,
that's correct.
So the sanctions are in place, but like I said, Russia is the main supplier when it comes to European countries of oil. We know that. So this thing, and we really would have to have a whole nother show to deal with this. This is really not about Russia. Okay, for those that really interested in what's going on, this thing started back in the under the administration of Obama with the Crimea crisis. So it would take me a whole nother show to really unpack the backdrop of this with Crimea. And at that time, we know that Joe Biden was the vice president. And where we are today and where we stand today as it relates to Ukraine fighting for their, to maintain their independence as a sovereign nation. So we may have to unpack that in another show. Okay. But it's definitely worth unpacking because we need to know what exactly is going on behind the crisis in Ukraine. And we need to be more knowledgeable about that because, yes, we're feeling the effects.
Yes, we are.
When it comes to inflation, when it comes to taxes on food, things of that nature.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so dealing with finances as it relates to this war, we are impacted globally. Okay, there's a global impact as it relates to the financial situation.
You know, we're hearing a lot about recession. 2023. I can feel that there's something different. Going to be different for this year. It's going to be a change for everybody globally. We know that.
Listen, the 2023 is not only we can talk about the, like I said, the from a financial aspect, what you need to be doing to make sure you put away, you have that rainy day, so to speak, fund set aside. You have a start paying down credit cards to where you alleviate credit card debt. When you buy cash, there are many things that you can do to offset those things. need to start. We've been talking about this for a while. If you can plant and grow your own food, fruits and vegetables, start doing that. Even if you have to do it out of pods or raised gardens in your backyard, if you have land, you need to start investing in land.
Yes.
If you do not have land, this year would be a great time to purchase land. It's going to be very difficult with the interest rate prices on houses to buy houses. If you are able to buy, then it will be a good time mid-year, right before the coming election, okay, to buy, because typically the interest rates are going to fall mid-year.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to start seeing things decline. Okay, so you'll see a descending of the interest rates, especially if they hit their peak. You're going to see them start to trickle back down.
Yes.
Okay, so mid-year, if you're able to buy, I encourage everyone to be home owners. Listen, that is how your citizenship is going to be solidified in coming years. It's going to be solidified based on you being a homeowner.
Or landowner.
Or landowner. Okay? Something of value that acts as collateral that can back you or say, this is what my net worth, this is what my portfolio consists of, this is what I have that I can offer if you get in a situation to where you have to use, be it property,
yes,
be it a home. Okay, cars are not worth much value now. Cars depreciate, so they're not considered assets. Okay, things that are considered assets are those things that appreciate, not depreciate. So, but anyway, in 2023, you need to look into that. And like I said, we may have to do a whole show on just finances. Another thing, black people, do not use your children's social security number to buy cars,
anything,
get credit cards. Do not do that. Do not. Oh, what happened?
I didn't touch it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, we're still going. I guess we have. Are we still going?
No, let me get it back up here. Hold it.
Okay. It says live.
It's live. See if you can still talk on there.
Hello. Okay, sweetheart. I think I see your hand above it. Okay, I think we're good. I could just go back up to the main page and just hit live. That's what I did. Just go back.
Check in.
Go back to the main page.
I'm on the main page.
No, so here. You talk. Let me do it. I apologize to everybody that we're having technical difficulties.
Michael said we're live.
Okay. Can he see me talking? If you can see me and hear me talking still, give us a thumbs up.
We see you on the big screen, so get it back up, yeah.
You do see me on the big screen? Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So, if they see us on the big screen, we could just continue.
Okay.
And you're going to have to stop it from your phone, I guess. Oh.
Put it back on. The broadcast is waiting for a signal. It should resume shortly. Okay, for some reason I see you.
Okay. Live. Is that it?
Yes. We do apologize.
We apologize. Let me just throw this out there right now. I need a producer for the show. So anybody that would be willing to do that for us, please contact us. Okay. But what I was saying in short is, please, black people, do not mess your children's credit up before they even have an opportunity to get to an age to where they can qualify for a credit card. Do not use your children's social security number. This is tax season. Do not, please, black people, do not. Tax laws are changing this year, and they are changing to make certain that any fraud that is done by way of taxes will be dealt with. We will be penalized if we do not abide by those new laws that are coming out, in which we will do a show just on taxes. I don't know if you all do tax, but I've been doing taxes for over 15 years now. Used to even do business taxes. So I keep up with the tax laws. I do my own taxes. But do not use your friend's child to get more money back on your taxes. Those type of things, as black people, we have got to get away from.
Yes.
Using our children's social security numbers to go out, mess up their credit, ruin their credit. They don't even have a chance when you're talking about making it in life, even having a start in life. We mess them up before they even get an opportunity. We mess ourselves up because we try to cheat the system. You know, adding other people's children, making up children, things like, don't do those things. Eventually, they will catch up with you, okay? 2023 is going to be a very trying year as it relates to finances, because we are not, the United States are, well, let me rephrase that. They're saying that we're in a recession.
We're going into 2023. It's going to be a recession.
So when I say they, the government.
Yes, the government
is saying that we are in a recession. Black people are in a depression. Okay, we have been in a recession for 450 years because we never got our payout, which was 40 acres and a mule. Okay, we never got that payout. So while whites were coming out of the recession, black people remained in the recession. We've never come out of the recession. Okay, so we have dealt with recessions all our lives. We're resilient. That's what makes us who we are. But let's not add to what we have had to deal with all of these years, for all these years. So those are some things that, like I said, please, let's start practicing how to operate and how to function with dignity and with class, and making sure that we do the right thing so our children will have an opportunity to succeed. Okay? So those are just some few things that we don't want you to as far as the tax season coming in, do not get involved in those things. Do not create more debt unless you can pay cash for it. If it's not necessary for you to purchase a new car, don't buy the new car. That's how simple that is. You know, first thing to financial freedom is discipline. If you are not a disciplined person, it's going to be very difficult for you to do some of the things that I'm asking you to do. But if you're smart and you understand that this 2023, as far as an economy, we're not going to get better. We will see another progression, I think, in 2024 after the election, but 2023 is going to be a year of turmoil. A lot of it is going to be systematically put in place, that turmoil. It's going to be systematically engineered because of the coming election. So some things are going to be put in place so that financially there is no rebound. It's stagnant. So it just kind of holds the line. You're not going to see any tremendous growth. Okay. You're not going to see the United States GDP go up. If it goes up, it may go up 0.5%. It's not going to go up much. So, but those things are going to be systematically engineered in place as it relates to society, put in place concerning the economy not growing. That's going to be done purposely. Okay, so those are the things as far as 2023 that we don't want you to do. Don't be financially, frivolous. Make sure that you're financially savvy in 2023, okay, and that you use your money wisely. That you find instruments to put your money in that your money will grow in, like mutual funds, a savings account, an IRA account,
yes,
things of that nature. Okay, so a Roth IRA. And we'll talk about all of those things as we continue to go through the year. We'll talk about investment portfolios, things of that nature. Gold. So you want to start investing in natural resources. Okay. If you play the stock market, you want to start looking at companies that sell gold, that sell platinum, lithium. All right. Lithium is the product that your electric car batteries are made out of, those things. Silver, start investing in natural resources again. That's where the most value is going to be. So, like I said, financially, we want you all to prosper in 2023, but these are some of the things that you need to put in place and that you need to be doing in order to make sure that you do prosper. Okay? So, okay. Okay.
We have about 10 more minutes.
Okay, about 10 more minutes. All right. So let me go through this real quick as well. Let me just kind of tell you what 2023, as far as from a spiritual,
yes,
okay, perspective, what we're looking at. The number 3, the last number of this year, 2023, New Year, 2023. The number 3 is a spiritual number that is very positive. It's communicates well. Mm-hmm. It connects well, and it's very creative. So those are some of the character traits. And let me back up. When we talk about numbers as it associates with spirituality, the whole universe mathematically is designed based off of numbers. Okay?
Exactly.
Numbers is what produces harmony and balance in the universe and cause all things to come into existence. Okay? So when we deal with certain numbers, there are certain divine numbers that we deal with. The number 3 happens to be one of those divine numbers. Like I said, it's very powerful because it the traits of the number 3 as it relates to individual traits and energy traits, okay, are very positive. So you're going to see more communication this year than you've ever seen.
Yes.
You're going to see a lot of creativity this year, okay, and you're going to see people connecting as a whole this year. Why is that significant? Because if we don't connect as a whole, and I'm going to speak to black people about that.
Yes.
If we don't connect as a whole, individually, the whole concept of divided we fall, united we stand is true as it relates to us. So collectively, we are stronger and better together. We have to learn how to trust each other again so that we can work collectively for the survival of the whole race that we know as black people. That is going to be something that is necessary in 2023. Communicatively, you're going to see probably more news feeds this year than we've seen in a long time. Okay? Understand this, the whole concept of intel, okay? The word intel is the ability to learn about one's past so that you can protect your present and so that you could progress in the future. Let me say that again. The word intel is the ability to learn your past. Why is that important? Because when you can learn your past, you do not make the same mistakes.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
In your present and future.
Exactly.
That is the whole concept of past. So when you look at the number 3, you got intel, communication, intel. The word intel is the prefix to intellectuality. It is the prefix to intelligence. Okay, so intel is used for a lot of things. 2023 is going to be one of those years where we deal with that. It's going to take intelligence. It's going to take intel. It's going to take us knowing our past, the ability to learn our past, so that we stop making the same dumb mistakes that we've been making for years right now, so that we can advance in the future.
Exactly.
Okay? Also, if you just use the prefix in, it is also the prefix of insane. Okay? So, people that keep doing the same thing, we know the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over, expecting
different results.
Different results. But you get the same results. Okay? So, this year, 2023, like I said, communication-wise, connection-wise, okay, collectively, creativity. Those that are creators, those that have their own businesses, this year, as long as you work your business will flourish.
Awesome. Yes.
So, I'm going to say that again.
Yes.
If you are a creator, all right, for instance, we're content creators, okay? We're falling into that category. I want to get deeper into creating content. I want to get deeper into doing these shows and on our other platforms, things of that nature. If you are a creator, this is a good year for you to flourish. Yeah. Based on the spiritual system as it relates to the number 3. Okay, do you understand?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so what are some of the negative things about the number 3? Some of the negative things about the number 3 is it is very surface. The number 3 in concept as it relates to traits, humanity, people that are born with the life path number 3 are very naive, very shallow. But let's give it to you universally, okay? Universally, it's just making bad choices. Okay, so if you are one that makes you're very indecisive, you don't know which way to go, you don't think things through clearly, you're very reactionary, you're very emotional, then this could be a very tough year for you. Okay, as a group of people, black people typically are very emotional people. We're very reactionary. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of being proactive, we are reactive. Yes. Okay? We have got to lead the charge. We shouldn't be reacting to the charge. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we cannot infuse emotions into our decisions. Okay, so this year is a year where we got to be very analytical. Part of being analytical is it emits positive energy. That's a very powerful trait. You see, most men are very analytical.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a positive trait if it is used to build the people.
Yes.
Okay? And it can be a negative trait if it is not used to build and used to tear down. Okay? So 2023 will be a year of decision for many of us. Okay? Our life, we have to make good decisions. Do not be don't be indecisive.
And don't be in a rush.
Don't be in a rush, that's right. Think it through so that you make the best decision. Okay? And you make the best choice. Because we're going to face a lot of choices. Okay? Yeah. And then the last thing I will say, and we're going to get ready to end, is, you can leave it there, sweetie. Okay. If you add up from a standpoint of here's numerology, and let me just do this on this page here, 2023. So if you add 2 plus 0 equals 2. 2 plus 0 equals 2.
Okay.
Plus 2 equals 4. Plus 3 equals 7. So you have two divine numbers. So 2023 in the numerical spiritual system equals 7. So you have 3 and 7. The number 7 spiritually is a number of wisdom, okay? Is a number that is very spiritual and is very thoughtful, okay? Also, the number 7 is very secretive, meaning that it only reveals what needs to be known. Let me say that again. It only reveals what needs to be known. You do not need to tell everybody what you are doing if you are building something. You let those know that are in your circle that are helping you build. Those that are outside of your circle, they do not need to know. It's wise. So when we talk about being secretive, we're talking about being secretive from a positive energy standpoint.
Yes.
Meaning that I don't need anyone that's not building with me to know what I'm doing, because the only thing they're going to do is speak negative energy over that. So the secretness is simply, I don't need that in my circle. Okay, so this year will be a year to where you will have to cut somebody off, cut family off, cut friends off. Anybody that's not going to help you build, it may be hard for you, but this is the year that you have to say no. That's how simple that is. Okay, very, very powerful. Okay, so two numbers for this year, 3 and 7. Are going to control pretty much the energy and the force of what we deal with as a community and as a people and as humanity as a whole. Black people have to understand how to adjust to those energies. Okay? How to use those energies to continue to build our people, to build ourselves. We have to begin to develop a new mindset as it relates to how we see ourselves, where we've come from, where we are, and then where we're going, so that we start to use the collective energy of the 3. You understand what I'm saying? We start to use that collective energy to build ourselves again. Okay, so I'll end there. I'm not getting too
Awesome, Brian. That was great. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to inbox them to our Facebook page, and Brian will be glad to shoot you back with your answer. If you take anything from this session, remember, think, think before reacting.
Yes.
We don't want to be
Absolutely.
reactionary. We want to think it through, count up the cost. Count up the cost. Because this is a year that really can just free a lot of people, a lot of black people. We can be free. I mean, when I'm talking free, I'm talking about free in your mind, free in your body, from sickness and disease, free in your spirit, to be positive. Anywhere you go, everywhere you go, try to be as positive as you can. And that doesn't mean you're giving into anybody. You're just not feeding into them. You're not giving into them. You're not feeding into them. So if you feel like, hey, everybody else going right, and you say that ain't right, that just doesn't feel right to me, I'm going to take the left path. Or I'm going to go forward. It's okay. We love you guys. Happy New Year again. Happy New Year. And remember those numbers. 3 and 7. 3 and 7. All right? We love you. Have a good night.